Hey everyone, and welcome back to day 5 of our CADvent calendar. I still like what we did there. Really clever. We got Advent and CAD and put them together. And got CADvent. So here we are, day 5. I can't believe it's the 5th of December already. Quite scary. But we're back on Revit today. And we're going to look at some of the tools that we've been using so far. User interface, the navigation tools, how to pan, how to zoom, so on and so forth. Project browser. And start using those to start setting our project up inside of Revit. So we're going to be using levels, maybe grids as well, depending on timings. So let's go and take a look. So we're on our home screen, and we're going to start by creating a new file. So I'm going to say under Models, click New, and I'm going to choose one of the templates. It really doesn't matter which one you choose for the purpose of today. So the construction template is fine. Click OK. That will take you into a brand new project. And what we can do with that project is just identify that by default we have 4 elevation markers: north, south, east and west. And we also, within our project browser on the left-hand side, have those elevations automatically here. Now it's worth noting that whatever is going on within the project browser is directly linked to the objects that we have inside of the viewport. So for example, if I just zoom in a little bit and double click the black tip of the south elevation marker, you will notice that we are taken into the south elevation view, and that is marked in bold in our project browser. They are one and the same, which is really cool because we do things once, we don't have to repeat. You'll also notice that views are tabbed when we start opening multiple views inside of Revit. That's also great because we can extract those views out onto separate screens, put it on another screen, change the visibility, so on and so forth. Should you not want to do that, you can simply just go in and double click the south elevation in your project browser and it does the same thing. So we have 2 levels by default, and a level inside of Revit is kind of corresponding to a level on your real life building. Whether it's a single story building or a multi-story building, you're going to have multiple levels. You'll have foundation level where you're drawing your foundations from. You might have a ground floor, a first floor, a roof, a parapet. Generally speaking, every story in your building will have a level inside of Revit. These are what the levels look like. We can change the 2 that are there by default by selecting level 1. That will highlight a temporary dimension showing you that this is 4 meters from level 0. I'm going to select the number on 4 meters and change that to 3,500 mil to make it 3.5 meters from level 0. Revit will move whatever you had selected at the time of editing the dimension. So if I put it back to 4 meters but do so with level 0 selected, it's going to move level 0 down 0.5 meter to -500. So it works fairly straightforward. Hopefully that kind of makes sense from that very brief discussion. We also have a live link between these levels and the floor plans in our browser. If I rename level 0, for instance, to ground floor, you will note that the level inside of the floor plans also updates. So we can do the same thing here. Let's say first floor, and that will also rename the corresponding view, because once again, these views are these floors. If I draw something on the first floor, it will align to this level and vice versa. To create more levels, we simply go to our architectural tab, our datum panel, and click level. As soon as we have a tool active, the viewport really comes to life and we get feedback. So we get tracking to show that we're in line with the marker on this side or in line with the marker on the right hand side here. And then we get a dimension displayed. The further you are zoomed in, the smaller the snap increments will be. So 10 mil at the moment. If I zoom right out, they'll jump up to 1 meter. I'm just going to eyeball at 4 meters above the first floor. I want a roof level, maybe 3.5. So let's get that to 3.5, click once, let go, move my mouse and click again when we are aligned with the right hand side. I'm going to do that one more time, but maybe at about 1500 mil, like so. To exit the command, you can either right click and cancel or press escape a couple of times on your keyboard. You will note that these two are blue and these two are black. That's because the bottom two already have views created in my project. Those of you that had eagle eyes may have spotted, I actually forgot to mention it at the time, using the level tool, there's a checkbox on the ribbon here, which is choosing whether or not you want to create a plan view on creation. I had that unchecked, so it hasn't done that. Kind of did it on purpose. We'll call it an on-purpose mistake, not to show you that. All I'm going to do is go to View. I'm going to go across to Plan Views, choose Floor Plans, hold down Control on my keyboard, and choose to open up floor plans for level 2 and level 3. Okay, I'm actually just going to rename those quickly before I do so. So let's call this one Roof, and let's call this one Parapet. And then View, Plan Views, Floor Plan, choose the two and press OK. The reason I renamed them beforehand is just to stop the multiple pop-ups. And there we have it. You've created your first levels inside of Revit. So we have a view for the ground floor, first floor, roof level, and parapet level. As simple as that. The other thing that we can do that we're just going to really buzz through over the next minute or two is grids. We don't really need a grid for the purpose of this project that we're going to go through over these videos, but you need to know how to create them. And it's really easy. Go to your ground floor, go to Architecture, go to Grid under Datum on the ribbon bar. And then we're just drawing lines. Click once to define a start point, move your mouse down and click again to define your first line. We've named it 1. Therefore, every time we draw a new one, let's just say 3.5 meters between 1 and 2, it's going to increment the number every time. So I'm just going to draw 5 of these manually just to show you that we can click once, click twice, and place these really easily between each other, like so. If I then want to change my numbering so it's alphabetical rather than numerical, once I've placed number 6 here, I rename it to A, and then I go ahead and draw once more using my snapping and tracking tools, making sure that I practice what I preach and eyeball my dimension between the two. But of course you can change those afterwards, and that's the benefit of working in something fast like Revit. We can draw something fairly quick, we can eyeball it, and then we can really get more accurate with it at a later time. So let's go ahead and show you that we've created our grid. We could then use our aligned dimension, DI, on your keyboard to go between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I missed the 5th one, try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Join us tomorrow for another episode of Robin's Counting Lessons. And A, B, C, and D. That places a dimension in between each one. Once again, choose what you want to move, make the change, and then Revit will move it for you. And that's it for today. That gives you a real good indication of how we create datum elements inside of Revit, both levels and grids. Grids aren't that important for the purpose of what we're going to be doing in this session. So I'm going to delete the grids I've just created and save the file because we're going to use it again in a couple of days' time. Thank you ever so much for watching. Join us tomorrow. We're going to cover Inventor, the same kind of thing, but for product design and manufacturing. And I'll see you in 2 days' time so that we can go through Revit once more. Until then, Merry Christmas. We're not there yet, but thought I'd say it anyway. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.